Last night we told you about an increase in sightings of UFOs here in Minnesota. Most of those cases have pretty normal explanations, though.
But we're intrigued by the story of a man who's experienced dozens of sightings. We discovered the skies are stranger and more dangerous than you might think. Here's Fox 9 investigator Tom Lydon.
It's a beautiful, beautiful night. Had our windows open, and you can typically, hear the airplanes.
A couple miles from Flying Cloud Airport, on a quiet suburban cul-de-sac in Eden Prairie, this man saw a light in the sky last May.
Yeah.
A curiosity that's become an obsession.
I noticed something that I had never seen before, which was an object that appeared to be levitating at or near the airport.
Fearing ridicule, he's asked us not to reveal his identity.
What did you think it was at first?
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's coming right towards us here.
Since that first encounter in May, there's been dozens of repeat performances, he told us. Bright objects in the western sky at around 500 feet, moving slowly and silently across the horizon at about 15 miles per hour.
It will fly probably 500 feet above us to 1,000 feet. It's close.
Often flying along the same flight path as Flying Cloud Airport, but always after 11 p.m. when the airport is closed.
Yeah, now it's taking a little southerly direction here.
He's made more than 80 video recordings with his iPhone, sometimes seeing as many as 6 objects together, he says. But airport officials tell him nothing shows up on radar.
So you've reported this to Eden Prairie Police. You've reported to the Airport Commission.
Yes.
To the FBI.
I myself called the FBI as well.
And you called the FBI.
Correct.
So you've reported to all these agencies.
Yes.
Including the local Flying Cloud Airport.
Correct.
And everyone tells you they don't know what these objects are.
That's correct.
So I have squads checking Homer Hills Park. I have squads checking up by the sanitation company and our outdoor storage site along the Flying Cloud Drive, where a pilot would have a vantage point if it were a drone.
I seldom ask this, but do you care to speculate about what it may be?
Perhaps it's a listening device or something, kind of something where a big brother is tracking, people's movements.
This year I've gotten more tips from people asking about mysterious aircraft or different things flying around than I've ever gotten before.
When it comes to Big Brother being airborne, Sam Richards is the journalist you call. For years now, he's been tracking government surveillance aircraft over major cities across the U.S.
To be honest, since the quarantine and then later the killing of George Floyd, there's been a upswell in people asking for information about weird airplanes or lights in the sky and that sort of thing.
And Richards says there's been an increase in government surveillance during this summer of civil unrest. But in this case, looking at the fairly consistent flight patterns, he suspects what we're really looking at is a private drone operating after the tower closes at Flying Cloud Airport.
If it was a government surveillance thing, you wouldn't expect it to be so routine.
And he's not the only one who's skeptical. Eden Prairie Police tell the Fox 9 investigators, so far, evidence has led police to believe the flying object is likely a drone. If this is the case, the drone is being flown in restricted airspace. Officers continue to investigate in an attempt to identify and interview the drone operator and determine if criminal activity has occurred. In fact, drones have become a major concern for aviation in the Twin Cities. The Fox 9 investigators made a public records request and discovered 27 drone encounters with airplanes in the last 5 years. For most, no evasive action was taken, but there have been a few close calls. A United Express captain reported that 5 miles out on approach to MSP at 2,500 feet, a drone missed the aircraft by only 50 feet. Then last summer, a Lifelink flight also had a near miss with a 10-foot quadcopter that came within 50 feet of the aircraft. Back at Flying Cloud Airport, workers found a wayward drone inside the gates. Another almost hitting an aircraft on the ramp. Police traced that one down to a 15-year-old. The punishment left to his mother. But an insurance agent warned airport officials if ingested into a jet engine on final approach, the drone could be a bad result. So far, we've been lucky, but in a strange way, the man who thought he was seeing UFOs may have given us an early warning. The skies are stranger and more crowded than we think.
It's not nothing, it's something.